Snapshot 23w44a is here. Now this one is a very small one and it don't include any new features. It does include some changes to 1.21 features we've already seen though, so make sure you watch the end to know everything that has changed, as there is a decent amount of small minor tweaks. So the first thing that I'm going to quickly mention, there are a load of different bricks within the game. As you can see by going through, there are quite a lot of them. And before this actual snapshot, they would all align up with each other. As you can see, this line right here all matches. The Tuff bricks would be one lower. As you can see, it now aligns. So if you want to build with Tuff bricks and the other bricks, you can now actually do so. And just so you can see, it aligns on both sides. So you can now actually mix these up with the other bricks and it won't stand out. But now they've actually made them match up. And I'm pretty sure they've also changed the texture. They look very different. They look like they have more blue within them now, although I'm not actually too sure if that is the case. And as you can see, they do also match up on the top. A few other changes within the snapshot. Copper doors have had a updated texture. I don't exactly know the difference. They look pretty much the same to me. And also apparently the trapdoors have had a updated texture as well. Now, if I can, I will put a before and after, so last snapshot and this snapshot, just so we can see if there is a difference. But also apparently the item textures have been updated to more match the block texture, which by looking at it, they are pretty close now. If I quickly just place that one there, you can see they do look quite alike. And also, when you actually open and close the doors, the subtitles are now correctly labeled. As you can see, there was a bug before where it would say the actual name of it rather than the translated name. That is also the case for walking on Tuff blocks and also now powering a copper bulb. One other thing that has been changed within this snapshot, decorated pots can now have loot table functions for them. You can now actually use data packs and commands to automatically spawn these with generated loot. So that'll be useful for structures and stuff like that. So if you're making like a trial ruins sort of structure, you can now actually have decorated pots spawn there with items in them, which is a very small change, but it's a good one for people who make maps or just like using creative features where you can obviously spawn already existing loot within containers. Now there has also been a change to the tick command. If I do /tick, this was obviously new within the last snapshot. So in the actual patch notes, it says there is a new part to the actual step command, which is optional, and it's saying there is a time part. I don't exactly know what that means, because if I do /tick and then step, it just comes up with 1 second, 1 tick or stop. So I don't actually know unless it's right here, but as you can see, it just errors it if I do a space. Okay, there, as you can see, time. So I'm guessing this is what the time is, unless the time has to be after. But once again, I don't exactly know what that means because I haven't had time to mess with it. There are also quite a few technical changes which we'll cover at the end of the video. Let's quickly just cover some bugs as there aren't really many of them. The first one, if you was to eat a chorus fruit, the actual burping sound and the teleporting sound would play at the old location. So the location you teleported from, they'll now actually play at the location you are teleported to. So let's just do that again. If we eat them, as you can see, the sound is now played on this block rather than the block over there, which is just a cool little change if you have directional audio or something like that enabled. Now there is a bug fix to do with the actual copper doors, where the actual top part would include an open window. I think that was a bug where the item texture wouldn't have that open window, but as you can see, all the actual doors do have it. Now, I don't actually think you can shoot anything through these. I think it is still solid. So if I quickly just try, let's do that and do that. Yeah, as you can see, it does get caught. So it's not technically transparent, but I think the bug here was the item texture had solid blocks at the top. It's editing Belgy right here. I am now in the last week's snapshot, and I think the copper door texture is these right here. As you can see, there are holes in the top of the door. We are now within this week's snapshot, and as you can see, the hole in the top of the door is now gone. So that is the texture change to do with copper doors. There was also a bug where if the game was frozen with the /tick command, the bat's head would spawn upside down. As you can see, that is now no longer the case, and the actual bat will spawn with its head in the correct location. There is also another bug where the ears were lower on Java Edition than they were on Bedrock Edition. That has now been altered, so they have been moved higher onto the bat's head. There was also a bug where you could craft chiseled copper with normal copper blocks, but you couldn't craft it with cut copper blocks. As you can see, that has now actually been fixed, and you can now get one. Okay, that's interesting. So for the actual blocks of copper, you get, for every one block you put in, you get 4 of the chiseled in return. But for the cut copper, it's 1 for 1. I guess the reason for that is probably because if you do 1 for 1, you get 4. So then if you do that, you will get 4 of these in return. So I guess that's why that's the case, and it's then so you can't duplicate them in a way. But I guess the stonecutter is kind of duplicating them anyway, because if you use the crafting table, I think it's like 1 for 4. But that is a good change anyway. One thing I have also noticed, you can't get the copper grates from the cut copper, as you can see, and you also can't put these in to get anything in return. There's one more fix with the bat, and that is the pivot point. If you don't know what that means, it's basically the point at which the head or the part of the body can bend. So as you can see, for the player, the pivot point is just where the head can move around and stuff like that. Well, the pivot point for the bat's head was inconsistent with Bedrock Edition. That has been fixed to actually make them match up more, which it won't really mean anything. It will probably just mean the animations might be a bit smoother. The technical changes, Datapack version is now Datapack version 23. And as you can see just by the patch notes, this week is a very small snapshot. There are also some more technical changes, which I thought I'd jump to the patch notes menu because I don't really know how to showcase them in game. So here is the tick command part. The time parameter in the tick step command is now optional. The default value is 1. Okay, I understand what that means now. We'll jump back to that in a second. Return has return 1 will now always return. If there is no valid result from the return command, the function containing return 1 will fail, i.e. success 0 or result 0. It seems like the function change also is with return 1. As you can see right here, that is what they've changed. And also then you can see another return 1 example right there for the function. And there is also execute if/unless function has also been altered slightly. It will no longer always fail if all functions had no return. And then as you can see, bug fixes are very little as well. Most of them are to do with subtitles not being correct. So now let's quickly jump back to the game. And if I quickly just show you what the actual step command changes, if you do this, you can now actually see I'm just doing the default. I'm not entering any time. But anyway, that is it for this snapshot. It is a very small one. I expected it kind of because we got the crafter and then a week later we got all the tuff and copper blocks. They'll probably take a week or 2 break before they come back with the trial chambers, the trial spawner and the breeze. But anyway, that is where I'm going to end this video. If you did enjoy, do leave a like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in another one very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.